We got a teen mom story, you guys. We got back-to-back teen mom stories. We're going to get into Ryan Edwards begging the judge to keep his divorce records sealed. Okay, well, his financial records and his contract from MTV sealed. And then after that, we're going to talk about Cheyenne Floyd, also from Teen Mom, explaining how she got cast on the show without actually being a teen mom. So let's start off with Ryan Edwards. Boys and girls, Ryan Edwards, disgraced Teen Mom Next Chapter star, is begging the judge not to expose his contract. So basically, he and Mackenzie, they've been divorcing for the past 2 years. It's like the longest divorce, that's coming out of this Teen Mom franchise so far. And they need to take a look at his finances because he wants an adjustment on how much child support he has to pay. He wants to pay less because the Teen Mom checks are not coming in the way that they used to, right? And so obviously, in order for that to happen, the judge would have to take a look at his finances to determine a new amount of money that is appropriate for him to be paying towards the care of his children. However, Ryan just filed a motion for a protective order to ask the judge to allow him to keep the details of his MTV contract sealed. Yes. So the court and by the way, shout out to the U.S. Sun for the scoop. In the court papers, Ryan's lawyer saying, I quote, defendant has previously been under contract with a certain media corporation for his appearance on a certain television show. It's like in code. I feel like we're all whispering here about what exactly it is that this man is doing, right? Part of this contract includes a non-disclosure clause and hefty financial penalty for violating the non-disclosure. Therefore, defendant by contract is prohibited from providing said contract without violating the agreement. Production of this contract would not only be a breach of contract, but would potentially jeopardize defendant's appearance on future television shows with this media company or its subsidiaries. So, listen, do you guys think it's true? I do think it's true that there is an NDA that prevents them from being able to be open about their salaries, right? However, I do not believe that if he were to submit his contract to prove his employment and whatnot in a court of law, that would constitute as like a violation of the NDA and that he would therefore become unemployable. I just do not believe that personally. So I'm kind of curious about you guys' take on all of this. Ali's calling it the never-ending divorce, period. Ramster says, speaking about drugs, enter Ryan Edwards, exactly, the ultimate kingpin. Gwen says, Ryan is always begging the courts to cover his behind for him. Someone should tell him to wear pants instead. I'm telling you, the amount of money that these two are spending on lawyers is insane. Like, I don't understand how they're able to afford this. Like, Ryan spends so much on rugs. He was spending 6 figures, you guys, like a year on this stuff. Like, he doesn't have money like that anymore. And then Teen Mom is on some sort of a hiatus or reduced filming schedule. So his Teen Mom checks are not what they used to be. He has a job, but still, like, all those kids, like, it's too much, right? And then Mackenzie, she has a regular job, but like the salary is not crazy. She's got multiple children. She's paying for these lawyers. I don't understand how these people do it. Is this on credit cards? Like, how do they do it? Carly says, I feel like they've been divorcing since I got married 2 summers ago. And it is true. 2 years ago, they started their divorce in February of 2023. So it's been just before your wedding. So probably when you were celebrating your bridal shower, your bachelorette, they started it up in divorce court. Tia says, oh, look, we're matching kind of. Mine looks a little bit blue here, but it's more so your color in real life. He must be broke. Exactly. He doesn't want it to be out there, you guys. He does not want it to be out there. AG says, right, how did they afford all of this? Like, I've got so many, I don't like to be nosy. Who am I kidding? I like to be nosy about people's finances, but I'm really genuinely curious because on top of that, they've got all these cars, all these this, all this, that. How does that work? It's also fascinating. You know what? Speaking of cars and stuff, I have a question for you guys. Does Ryan travel? Has he ever left the country? I don't think I've ever heard about this man going on a vacation. Have you? What about Mackenzie? What about Macy? Do you hear about these people traveling? Because like with Kale, like you hear about her traveling a lot. Like she goes to Asia, she goes to Europe, she goes to Latin America, Caribbean. Even Janelle, she used to go to St. Thomas and stuff. do any of these people go anywhere? Like even like Mexico or something like that? Have you guys heard about that? I don't know why, but it just popped into my mind. Ramster Maria says, I'm still wondering if Ryan was adopted. His parents seem pretty like grounded and they have this missile for a son. You know what this is? Permissive parenting in action. You know, when your son is the center of the universe, you know, he can never do anything wrong. Don't stress him out. Don't upset him by making him do things that would, you know, teach him responsibility. This is what you get. This is what you get. A freaking Ryan Edwards. Ronnie says Ryan is disgusting. Damn, Ronnie. It's true, but damn, straight no chaser. Ali says trust funds and Coca-Cola stocks. You think so? Honestly, if you had money to put like in a trust fund for your kid and it turned out like Ryan, would you still give him the trust fund or would you let it skip over him onto his children? Like, you know what, you step aside. I'll give this trust fund to your son instead. Like, please, your kids. Julissa says, good point. These people have money, are boring. Exactly. They don't do anything. They don't do anything. They don't go anywhere. It's so fascinating to me. I don't get it. Angela, oh, thank you, Angela. I just got it done last Monday, actually. Thank you, boo. Ramster says he never traveled. His tether to his dealer was too short. Maybe that's it, right? Like, listen, it is true. This guy was never going to go too far from his dealer. Do you guys think he's clean now? Are they still subjecting him to random rug testing and whatnot? Ryan is a prodigal son. Exactly. Listen, some of these parents are too in love with their kids, especially the moms. They'll be like straight up in love with their sons. You know what I was watching this morning? On Facebook Reels, there was like this video of like, and it was happening somewhere in the Middle East. And there's like this video of like this couple doing their first dance together. And the mom comes and pushes the bride to dance with the son. And then the son dances for a bit, goes back to his bride. And the mom pushes the bride again. I said, oh, girl, that ain't normal. At least I could never be the parents Jen and Larry are. Exactly. No, you gotta discipline them. You know, I know it sucks to say no to your kid, but you gotta discipline them. Chandler says, gonna miss being the only people watching Teen Mom. Listen, it looks like they're picking it up a little bit now. So we might get a mini version, like a web version or something. So we'll be back, Chandler. We'll be back. And yes, Ramster, he is an only child, a king, a prince in his household. And look at the results of that. Oof. Honestly, I'd be so pissed. I'm sorry. I'd be so pissed. I only have one freaking kid and it turns out like this. Jesus Christ. Anyway, y'all, let's get into another teen mom story, shall we? By the way, if you're enjoying today's episode of The Morning Report, please don't hesitate to go ahead and give it a thumbs up so YouTube knows you enjoy my content. Why don't we get into the Cheyenne? And we go live every single weekday morning at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, in case you're new here, okay? Or in case you're watching from the bushes. Write this down on one of those like plant leaves, okay? We go live weekday mornings at 10 a.m. So we've got Cheyenne Floyd, you guys. Cheyenne Floyd is opening up about how exactly it is that she got cast on the Teen Mom franchise without being a teen mom. She explains it all on Snapchat. So according to Cheyenne, it was because of her baby daddy drama. Remember, she got knocked up by Corey while they were filming like Are You the One? Or the challenge or something like that. And she let him hit it raw. It was 7 minutes maximum. And then Ryder was conceived. But at that time, she had a boyfriend. So she didn't know if the boyfriend had knocked her up before she left or if it was Corey who knocked her up during the filming of the show. Right. And so she let all that drama kind of play out on social media, and it got the attention of the MTV executives who were following along on what was going on. Right. And so it's just kind of funny to me because this whole thing is so trashy to be like suspense, drum roll, who's my baby daddy sort of a thing. Right. But listen, it paid off for Cheyenne. And so the videos that she was posting online about, you know, the paternity made their way over to the head honchos at Viacom. And then they reached out to her and asked her if she would be interested in shooting for a show. They didn't tell her that she was going to be on Teen Mom, right? And mind you, this was back around the same time that Farrah had left the show. So they really needed somebody. And Cheyenne was already in the MTV family as well at this point because she had done Are You the One? Which, by the way, every time I think about that show, Are You the One on MTV, I have like a really like sweet spot. What do you call it? Like a soft spot for it, because there's this couple from it, Ethan Diamond and Amber. Like the fact that they met season 1, they got engaged at the reunion. They've got their kids. They're still together. Like, you know, these things used to be so authentic, right? Before like the age of like social media and this and that. Like, I wish we had another, we've got Lauren and Cameron, of course, but like, yeah, I kind of wish we had another couple like that coming out of that show. Or did we? Uche and someone? I don't remember. Anyway, yeah, so that is how Cheyenne got put onto the show. And so again, she had no idea that she was filming for Teen Mom. She just thought that, she and Corey thought it was just going to be a show about Cheyenne, her life, the parenthood, and everything that they've got going on, essentially. So there you go. And she said, listen, I may not have been a teen mom, but I was a young mom at the end of the day, right? And so, like the struggles kind of really are similar, even though they're not exactly the same as being a teen mom. And I want to know what you guys think about that, because I'm going to say that there is a big difference, right, between being 16 and pregnant and being 24 and pregnant, right? Like typically, at least in my case and in, my family and friends case, like when you're 24, you've kind of finished with your degree, like you've started your adult life. So I personally would not compare if I got pregnant at 24 with if I got pregnant at 16. The place I was at in my life were two completely different places, right? But listen, maybe for Cheyenne it's different. Cheyenne went to school though, didn't she? I think she and her sister, they both got like college degrees, right? So I found that to be a really, really strange thing to say, but I digress. So Paprika says Cheyenne was not a teen, but how could MTV pass up such a beautiful train wreck they already had on payroll? Exactly. Did she even know who Ryder's dad was? Exactly. That's exactly what it is. It was the paternity thing that they really wanted to have play out on the show. Remember, Cheyenne was trying to like pass Ryder off as like her boyfriend's kid, right? I guess she didn't want the boyfriend to know she cheated or something. And then boom, Ryder's health issues start happening, and then they really truly need to know, and so she can't hide it any longer. So the whole thing really was quite juicy and interesting, right? Thank you, Kristen. That is so nice of you. Thanks for your thumbs up. And yes, Ronnie, I hope the tea was nice and piping hot for you, boo. Ronnie, of course, because she was already on the payroll. Exactly. Listen, are any of you guys in HR? Is it like hard to like import people onto the payroll and stuff? Because typically what? It takes 3 weeks to get paid for the first time once you get hired. So it is a process. The orientation booklet, everything. Just keep somebody from the MTV family already who happens to have a baby and still be, relatively young. 7 minutes. I'm telling you, 7 minutes is all he lasted. Either she, she's got that good stuff. She's got that wop, or the guy just does not have any skill. Which one is it? Maybe it's both. I don't know. Good morning, Dawn. Nice to see you, boo. AG says, Cheyenne lives the good life. Her parents are rich. She doesn't have to work. Must be nice. I'm telling you, honestly. I'm telling you. But that's the thing I don't understand. Like how people like Cheyenne end up with like scrubs like Zach. You know what I mean? Like beautiful girl, rich from your parents. You're on a TV show. You're making all this money on social media. And you go and you find a man with a lengthy criminal record who has no desire to work. And you say, oh, let me have not one but two babies with him. And on top of that, let me marry this man. And, you see her complain on the show about like being the breadwinner of the family and stuff. It's like, well, what were you expecting? You married an unemployed man. Like, how was he going to be the breadwinner for you? Unless he wanted to go back to his life as stealing. I can't say too much because Zach already blocked me on Instagram last time I called him a thief. Rude. Ramsey says 3 minutes tops. Oh my God. Well, what's so funny about Corey is that he's very self-deprecating about like his lack of skill in the bedroom. So he'll be the first to tell you it's small and he doesn't last long. So the fact that Cheyenne and Taylor were like fighting over this is crazy to me. Like, are the pickings really that slim in LA? And this is what y'all are fighting over? Please. Gwen says wealthy parents can be a crazy level of defensive about their kids. It's annoying not to be able to say more than that. She passed her teen phase when she got on this show. Exactly. Oh, and yes, is it still going on? Are you the one? I used to freaking love that. And I saw the news. I wasn't watching that season of Love Island, so I don't really have an attachment to it, but that is really, really, really freaking sad. I hope that they both find the right people for them moving forward. But it's sad to hear that they've broken up. And listen, just send your good vibes to Nicolandria because I'm not ready to handle a Nicolandria breakup, okay? I don't want that. Dawn says, love that. Oh, thank you, Dawn. That is so nice. Thank you. It's funny. In real life, it's kind of like just like your average like green, but on camera, it shows up a little bit more on the blue side. Jabe says, if the other way around happened, Cheyenne would be quick to call a gold digger. Exactly. I don't get it. Like, of all your options, and don't forget, like, listen, we all know that the Diddy family is disgraced now, right? But at the time, before we knew about all that stuff and before the lawsuits, we were hearing about her connection to them and how Diddy's son is like the godfather of her daughter. It's like you're connected to these people, and this is the best you can come up with. Like, that's crazy to me, honestly. But I digress.